A few months ago, I posted a video on the top 10 free-to-play games I felt online gamers should give a try. A lot of the games on that list included games that I felt were absolutely fantastic, but lacked media attention or had had bad publicity in the past, but had improved significantly since their respective launches, such as WildStar and Atlas Reactor. From that video, I received a lot of suggestions of other free-to-play games that should have been included on that list, and one of those games recommended to me was Paragon, a free-to-play third-person action multiplayer online battle arena developed by Epic Games. Now, since reading those comments, I haven't been able to get the game off of my mind and have been wanting to check it out again. Now, I have played Paragon before in the past, but I found it to be a very complex and intimidating game to get into, so I uninstalled it and haven't played it since. Now, along with all the recommendations from the Paragon community, the developers recently released a massive overhaul update to the game in patch version 42. There were a lot of changes that happened during the update that really piqued my interest, such as the removal of their item shop for a deck building / attribute mechanic, which I will get into later in this video. So after having all of these new changes and recommendations from the community swarming around in my head over the last few weeks, the real kicker that got me to re-download the game was a new in-game event celebrating Halloween called Shadow's Eve. Now, I'm a huge fan of Halloween, so this in-game event was the final straw that broke the camel's back and made me re-download the game and play it. Now, before I get into all the ins and outs of the game, I want to share with you my personal experience playing my first match since reinstalling Paragon. Well, it was an absolute mess. I decided to play a hero named Wraith who has the abilities to cloak his allies in invisibility, reveal enemies, as well as reverse enemy positions. I did not know any of that going into the match, however. I figured I could pick any hero, read through their abilities, and have a decent time playing them. After all, this was just a bot match. Well, I quickly came to the conclusion that Paragon is soaked in a dense meta. And what I mean by that is the game has a strong emphasis on hero roles and team composition. Now, most competitive games have a meta as well, including flexible metas that don't have to adhere to a specific rule. And that is true for Paragon as well, but may not become apparent to new players until much later. Now, each hero in the game can be categorized into several different roles. Certain heroes are made to play a single role, while others can be customized to fit in multiple roles. Now, the hero roles go as follows. First is the offlaner, which is good for heroes who can solo and usually play against up to 2 other opponents at the same time. The mid laner, which is for heroes with strong abilities to push and poke at the other team's mid laner. The jungler, who works on killing jungle minions for XP, gold, and buffs. And finally, the safe lane for 2 heroes, 1 support, and 1 carry. Now, most of those terms will be familiar with most MOBA players, including myself, but due to the strong dependence on players sticking to those roles, and perhaps as a new player not understanding exactly what heroes play what roles, it can be a little intimidating for most new players. Hence my ignorance in picking Wraith, a more advanced hero with a more versatile playstyle. The game does a great job, however, of providing you with some beginner heroes for each role that you can play and a good description of what lane those heroes should play in. I, however, wanted to unlock a cool looking hero and just jump right into the fight, and well, I highly recommend not doing that. Now, this leads me into the next thing I want to talk about, and that is the champions themselves. So Paragon does something quite different compared to other games in the genre, in that it allows you to play all the champions right up front for free without having to unlock them. However, the progression rewards you receive from playing a champion that doesn't have what's called their Master Challenge unlocked is quite different from a hero that does have it unlocked. Now, it sounds a little complicated to explain, so I will just quote straight from the game's wiki on how it works. Players without a Master Challenge can level any hero to level 5 and gain rewards at each level. Players will not gain any extra levels for levels 6 through 10. They will receive the base amount of XP for playing their heroes. Players with a Master Challenge will unlock the challenge skin and will gain additional XP rewards from 1 through 5, and all rewards available from levels 6 through 10. At level 10, players unlock the Master Skin. So, how do you unlock the Master Challenge? Well, you can either purchase it using their in-game currency called Reputation, which at the time of this video costs 25,000 Reputation to unlock, or you can use their premium currency known as Coins to purchase the unlock for a total of 50 coins. Now, those prices may differ as I did participate in an in-game event, so I believe they were being discounted. Now, one last thing I want to share about the Master Challenge, each hero can unlock rare cards at certain levels that can be used to enhance custom decks, along with loot chests that grant reputation, card gems, and more. So make sure to unlock those Master Challenges. Let's talk about the deck building in the game and hopefully do my best to break it down for you, along with the new attribute and gem progression system. When playing in a match, you will obtain gold that you can then spend on one of 3 attributes: agility, vitality, and intellect. Each attribute has 5 slots that passive skill gems can be inserted into. Once you reach a certain slot after buying the required attribute points, that skill gem then becomes active. You can also use the attribute points you receive by buying cards from your deck. Certain cards require specific points from a specific attribute to be equipped. However, there are certain lesser powerful cards that only cost a handful of gold. Now let me better explain this by giving you an example. Let's say I focus on a deck that requires a great deal of intellect points, as well as I slotted most of my skill gems into the intellect attribute. Now one of my cards requires 5 intellect points to be equipped, and I also have a skill gem placed in the first slot within the intellect attribute, which requires 6 points to be activated. I spend 6,000 gold I earn killing minions and enemy heroes only on the intellect attribute, giving me 6 intellect attribute points and thus activating my first skill gem. Then I use 5 intellect attribute points to purchase my card, leaving me 1 extra intellect attribute point to be saved up for another card. Now the attribute system at first can seem very daunting and confusing, but as you get more and more games under your belt, it becomes very refreshing and easy to understand. I had maybe 3 games under my belt before the deck building and attribute system finally clicked for me, and I was quickly buying attribute, equipping cards, and jumping right into the fray. One quick note before I move on is that the gold spent is not redeemable. However, attribute points that you spend on cards can be redeemed by unequipping said card and then using those attribute points to purchase a more powerful card later on in a match. So once I got the basic team composition down, hero roles, and the gem/attribute system figured out, what was my experience with the game? Absolutely amazing. I don't think I have ever experienced a more impactful MOBA before. Sure, I've had some intense gameplay experiences playing competitive games before, such as League of Legends and Paladins, but the thing that really makes Paragon shine is the overall presentation in its graphics, third-person point of view, and its powerful sound effects. Every blast, shot, slash, smash, and explosion holds weight behind it and accompanied by a strong sound effect as well as flashy but not over-the-top visuals. The graphics of the game are by far the best in any multiplayer battle arena game I've ever played. The heroes have weight under their movement, their animations are fluid, sharp, and well crafted. This game really is eye candy. So I want to give my final thoughts on the game as I wrap up. Now Paragon is beautiful both visually and in its sound design. The game's progression system both in and out of matches may seem daunting at first, but with a little patience and effort can become both intuitive and easy to understand. The business model for the game is one of the best I have ever seen in a MOBA, giving you all the heroes for free with the options to purchase cosmetics such as skins, banners, and emotes. And I love that about the game. Oh, and if you play or watch the game over on Twitch, you can actually earn free chests to be unlocked for skins, coins, and reputations, so not a bad system. Well guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and subscribe for more online gaming videos.